Hi, Stuart. I have a question. It's Leisha.
Yes.
Um, just a simple back to the basics question about in when we're in a situation that's very traumatic or difficult, how to stay connected to love and how to believe that there's still love when all we see is the opposite.
They should, in answer to a question like that, there's no situation that can't teach you something about yourself. And sometimes these impossible situations, usually they're emotional type things. They're there to teach you that, as I say, all that you have to develop an inner life that is strong enough to be able to deal with people in a way where those kind of situations don't take place. You have the capacity in yourself to do it. You have all the tools. You're born with them to do it. You have to learn how to do it. And these situations, positive situations, negative ones, whatever they are, they're a reminder that we have no real choice in life but to grow, to get stronger inside, to get more open inside, more developed, the chakra system more developed inside us, so we can deal with whatever we are confronted with by life. And there isn't a person alive who isn't confronted with negative, positive. I mean, I always used to kid around and say, if you have a negative experience, it's going to be followed by something positive. If you have a positive experience, it's going to be followed by something negative. It's the way that energy manifests, in the kind of dimension that we live in, on the earth. And all it teaches is, I need to grow. How many times I've been through things, I won't even get into them, what they were. They were so horrible, some of them, you know, and I would go up to my teachers, my Rudy, Nityananda, went to Ramakrishna, to Ramana Maharshi, to all kinds of great spiritual teachers. And they would say, bro, it's your karmic lesson. You have to grow. And when you can get to the point inside yourself that you can forgive somebody for doing something awful to you, and you can do it with an open heart, with strength, you're no longer attached to the situation, you can move on, and you've really grown. That it doesn't linger inside you, eating you alive. And we all have, everything necessary to do what I'm talking about. Sometimes I feel like I'm beating my head against the wall talking about this, but it's true. Every human being can do what I'm talking about. I know this because I did it. And God only knows what I was like when I was 22 years old, 25 years old. And the kinds of things I used to attract to my life. And later on, too, the kinds of things that came into my life some of them was so horrible. And the answer I kept getting from my teachers, your karma, you have to grow, get stronger than it, develop a capacity to be free of it, your capacity to detach yourself from it, to free yourself from it. And above everything, forgive the people that have done this to you, because not for them, they have to learn how to do this for themselves. But for yourself, you have to be able to forgive them so that you can move on in your life and you're not carrying that kind of baggage around with you all the time. If you carry that kind of baggage around with you all the time, you're going to keep attracting situations like that. Now, what I'm talking about is not easy to do, but it's certainly worth doing. It's certainly worth doing. It allows you to live on a completely different level in the way you approach your life every day. I hope that's clear, Alicia, because, I know it's not easy. And I know we all, we run into walls all the time. We run into all this stuff that happens. It's seemingly out of our control. It happens, but it's not. It's just grow. Instead of looking at it as something negative, look at it as something telling you you need to grow inside yourself. And then those situations, you can deal with them calmly, quietly. They don't wreck your life. You make choices that are more conscious choices about people you want to get involved with. And it all gets back to each and every one of us can do this. We have everything that's necessary to do this. Now it's a matter of whether or not we do it. And then you stop feeling sorry for yourself. You're no longer a victim, and you no longer will victimize anybody else. I mean, something happened today that, it really was kind of amazing, with somebody. I can't get into it, but it was really amazing, uh, the situation. But anyway, I've learned to look at life as not being my enemy. I don't think anybody on this planet is really my enemy. Everybody I ever interact with is teaching me, Stuart, this is your karma. Stuart, you can't deal with this. You got to grow. Don't be angry at them. Don't be upset at them. Just get stronger. Develop your inner life. Get more closely connected to higher energy in the universe. And then, and I wouldn't talk like this if I didn't honestly and deeply in my heart, I believe that any human being can do what I'm talking about, but they have to work at it. Does anyone else have a question? And then there's nothing more to complain about. It's just life in all its absurdity and all its stupidity and all of its lack of consciousness and all of its joy and love and forgiveness and gratitude for the sacred nature of life and with us being alive, being born into this thing, that it becomes sacred as we develop a system inside that's more connected with higher energy in the universe. Now, we can't do this for other people, but we certainly can do this for ourselves. And maybe if this kind of thing happens to us, somebody will look at us and say, hey, how did you learn that? What did you do to be able to live in that way? What can I do to learn how to live in that way? Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Hi, Stuart. It's Irene here.
Siren.
I have a question on how to use this practice to um, make a decision. You're talking to Alicia about choices. How do we practically use this to make a choice if you're having a hard time deciding on a specific path to go on?
Well, a couple of that. First of all, what I answered, Alicia, is the same answer to you. You got to get to a place in yourself where you're strong enough to make conscious choices, and you can build that inner life in yourself. Secondly, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes aren't mistakes. They're just opportunities to learn and grow. You know, you make a choice, and oh my God, what did I get involved with? All right, I got to get stronger. I have to grow. I have to learn. So the mistake isn't really a mistake; it's a teacher. And if you see things that way, you're not. First of all, you begin to lose the fear of making a choice. And that is probably the biggest problem right there, that fear. We got to choose something, what to do, what. And we make ourselves crazy. Just making a choice. Once you overcome the fear, I think 90% of the battle is won. You make a choice. Okay, I used to have an Asian art business when I lived in Manhattan. I had galleries and and stuff like that. And I would sell pretty expensive Asian art, from Tibet, Nepal, India, China. And I remember once I went out and bought a statue. And I was told that it was an 18th century, Lohan bronze gilt. I bought it. I didn't pay a lot of money for it, but I bought it. And it turned out to be fake. And it never upset me that I bought that statue. I didn't go back to the person and get angry at them. I put it on my desk. And every time I had to make a decision I would look at that statue and say, Stuart, you got to be more conscious about the way you buy things. That statue saved me hundreds of thousands of dollars. Mm-hmm. Literally. I'm not kidding you. It was right there on my desk. One day I had a robbery in my gallery and somebody stole it, and I was really upset. Really true. I said, my God, that statue was like a charm for me. It was a mistake. But then how do you make a mistake work for you?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question you'd like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, there will be meditation on Tuesday. Thank you. God bless you all. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you, Stuart.
Bye.